this was like its own video, it'd be like making early 2000s snacks while talking about our fave internet videos from the early 2010s.
This is a series.
You've seen Betches before. It's one of those mega meme accounts on Instagram that both amasses and creates content you'll inevitably see in your DMs from a friend or on someone's story. If Marie and I have learned anything from doing Between Two Salads, it's that memes are their own economy, even if it still feels too early to figure out exactly how. If I've learned anything from running Kardashian Colloquium, it's that growing a social presence is a long and very hard game. Yet Betches has somehow mastered the business of social media. What algorithmic code have they cracked in order to reach audiences so well? We sat down with Betches co-founder Samantha Sage to find out how she and her collaborators scaled Betches from online content into a full-blown, female-forward media company.
Hello, I'm so excited to have you here.
Me too. I am such a fan.
I'm such a fan too of everything. You've accomplished something major in the media landscape. What was the initial idea for it? What was happening at Instagram at the time you thought of it, and what it was like to watch it grow?
So we started Betches over 10 years ago at this point. So Betches itself actually started as like a fun joke project between two of my childhood friends and I. We were in college. We happened to go to college together. We went to Cornell. We were seniors, and it was towards the end of the year, so we were, kind of checking out of the whole college thing. At the time, blogs were very popular. So we'd started a blog called Betches Love This, and basically
I remember it. I remember that. Yes.
That was the genesis of it.
Yeah.
And basically what we were doing was we're trying to kind of like satirize the culture of what eventually became known as like millennial women.
Yeah.
And because we were in college, we were really thinking about it in those terms and trying to sort of both like dissect and kind of get a laugh with the people we were satirizing without being, like hatery about it. It was based on observations of people around us, our own sort of ridiculous behaviors in some cases, but really it was meant for, for laughs and satire. But it got really popular. So after that, we kept writing and we kept, thinking about how can we expand this into a business. But Instagram, I think, started in 2010. We basically got the account name, which was just Betches in 2011. But Instagram at the time was not popular. People were not really on it, and they were really using it with like those filters and to take a picture of your salad, your iced coffee, but it wasn't what it eventually became. Around like 2013, 2014, 2015, that was when the rise of meme culture started, but also, the rise of the influencer and sort of that like V2 of Instagram. And instead of going, the influencer route and showing our faces, we really took it in the meme direction. We were anonymous. It wasn't really about us necessarily, and really just about like kind of humorous commentary on the lifestyle of a Betch.
So Betches, it's the name itself is interesting because I think it is that commentary on like the vocal fry, like Betches. There was like a Betches kind of moment at that time, right?
Totally. I don't know if you remember, but like Tucker Max was very popular, and the whole idea of being like a bro. And really just like a horrible misogynistic asshole. That was really like hot in the culture. And like I remember reading like the book, The Rules and the Game, and the way like men would sort of treat women and want to be, cool and dominant. But we sort of felt like there has to be something like this for women. Like not every woman is this like prim and proper woman who doesn't curse and, you know, wants to like be perfect in her sorority. We really felt like there was something missing, and we wanted to really bring that to light. Like at the time, we really, I think, we really thought we had it figured out.
Yeah.
We didn't. Like being a little tongue in cheek about that.
Totally.
And self-deprecating, which is, I think, what appealed to people about it.
This was so long ago now, the age of blogs. Like, what was it like when a blog was successful?
At the time, Facebook feeds and walls, like wall to walls, and, you know, looking at people's friendships, that was pretty big. So I think people would share things on Facebook, and you would see what people were sharing with each other, and that was a huge metric for us at the time. You could tell when people were like, this is so us, or they would quote it on their Twitter. Things were not as scaled as they are now, but the reactions were strong. Yeah. And that's, I think, when you know there's something there.
Is there a specific article that you remember like kind of went on fire, or that people really related to, or was kind of being shared a lot?
I mean, there were so many, but I think about like even like our first one was called Talking Shit. Yeah. And, you know, we were making jokes about how women sort of relate to each other through talking and through analyzing things. And I guess we're doing that in a bit more of a constructive way now. But really talking to women the way they speak to each other was kind of what we always saw as like our secret sauce. And I think that part of it is that the three of us have been friends since we were really young. Yeah. So it's really in the DNA of the business, and that is not a coincidence that that is really the voice we're going for when we speak to, you know, the community.
Oh my gosh, it like echoes through that connection and that like understanding of how women can connect. To that point too of what we're doing now has kind of actualized that successful article about women talking shit, women processing, is we are at a point in media now where I think the form, we're exploring the same concepts, but it's like there's productions. Like we've gotten to a point where it's like there's a new way of presenting it that's almost demanded or expected.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm thinking just in terms of reality TV. I've gotten really into sort of looking behind the scenes of how they film like the Housewives. Yes. Those women aren't all really friends, and they're basically making friend groups and then saying, we're gonna go here and film this party. Yeah. And I think COVID really made that very obvious, especially if you watch like the Real Housewives of New York. You could really see that they were filming and they were showing up to work to film. It's different than, let's say, the Kardashians, and they thought like, oh, we're really just watching them like in a Big Brother way. Yeah. But they're not watching them in a Big Brother way. They're watching them in a production way. Yeah. But because it's never really defined, like the word reality TV can mean so many things. It could be a game show, or it could be Big Brother. Really, I mean, each viewer brings kind of their own assumptions to what they're watching. Yeah. And I read a lot of Reddit threads, so I
like the threads too.
A lot of different perspectives on that.
I think it's really cool that your brand has like always stayed the same, but it's moved through and benefited from all these different platforms.
It's interesting because like when we had the blog, that was like longer form analysis with humor. Then memes were like really, really short. The shortest, most like basic memes would sometimes perform the best. Yeah. Then I think you saw how like Instagram incorporated video and stories, and you started watching like more, and you started expecting more before you would scroll away. Let's say podcasts would come next in that. I mean, then you get, you know, a little bit more in depth again, and now you have TikTok, which there's so much more room for like a longer extended performance. Like you can make a sketch and tell a story in a really like intricate way, or you could just sit there and like speak for 3 minutes. I do feel that there is like kind of like a reaction to what came before.
They like beget each other somehow.
Yeah.
And then Betches has remained the essence of it consistent through these different incarnations.
What we've really always tried to be loyal to is being funny, honest, and unfiltered. And that was the same when we were blogging as it is when we are posting a meme or doing a podcast. And that's really, I think, like the strongest part of the DNA of the company. Yeah.
It's strong enough at its core that it can like have all these different iterations and still resonate with all the audiences who come to that form.
Thank you. I mean, we've also witnessed trends in terms of digital media where you see like websites or companies just absolutely blow up, and then you'll see them lay off like half their workforce. And you know, when Facebook starts throwing a lot of views to videos, everyone scampers to change their strategy to pivot to video. But then, you know, Facebook changes its algorithm. You know, there were businesses that were like put out of business basically by those changes. That's another thing that I think goes sort of like under the radar, is how much power the platforms have to determine the future of creators, of businesses, of types of content.
That is so fascinating, because that gets into that Marshall McLuhan stuff that I really obsess over. The idea that the medium itself shapes how we think, how we experience, how we relate. And that's what I'm hearing. And what's interesting is that it's very much driven by the money.
Right. I mean, it's a very American thing for growth at all costs.
Yeah.
Growth regardless of whether what you're doing is quality or whether it is really benefiting people.
Yeah.
That I think is like a distinctly American thing.
Yes.
And I wonder if that's why the TikTok algorithm is slightly different and like almost magical in some ways.
Yeah.
And how it can like find quality and then push quality, although there are obviously some drawbacks to that. But the growth at all costs thing, I think, has been hugely relevant to what people have created.
Wait, that gives me two thoughts. One, that's something you got to think about now, is like, how can my idea span the test of time in all these platforms? And then secondly, that whole growth at all costs and like the platforms having so much power, it's kind of like, you know how Apple will intentionally make their ports different and shit, so that for the next iteration you have to buy more shit. And it's like, that's their way of creating new markets, creating new things. Like, you have to always be shifting so that there's new ways to consume.
I mean, capital. Oh, here I go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna crack these salads open.
Oh I'm like, oh fuck, here I go. It's a result of capitalism, which is a beast that constantly needs to be fed in order to, I guess, survive. And you see so many people. That's really where I think people are getting very critical and just sort of fed up. These days, which is this need to constantly create. And when you're constantly having to create, like, not everything you do is going to be gold. But there's this expectation that you have to keep feeding the platform. And why does the platform need to be fed? Because the platform wants to make money. It wouldn't exist if it weren't a money-making enterprise.
Right. Well, that brings us to the question, how did you learn to like pitch things? How did partnerships start happening?
So it started with the website. We were trying to get like banner ads and that kind of thing. We started working with this company that essentially sold our ads. And it turns out that brands were much more interested in Instagram than they were in the website. This was like early influencer days where fashion influencers, you know, they weren't heavily sponsored yet. Brands would send you absolutely anything. At the time, we were going for our biggest deal ever, which was, you know, 6 figures. And my partner and I went in having never sold anything, never pitched anything. And we went in and we basically just explained like why our audience trusted us and why they would trust us to help promote their product. That's really what it was about. Just getting brands to see the value. Not only did we have a large audience, but the audience trusted us and that we could also say things that the company itself could not get away with. Let's say you have a company that they're very conservative and they have an audience. Being edgy is not their brand, but they do want to capture the female millennial, and they want, you know, they want to be able to be a little more edgy in how they're communicating. So they would use us essentially as like a proxy for that. And we would be able to say a little more, go a little further than they would go. And speak to our audience like we had always spoken to it, which is the way they speak to each other, which was kind of proving our thesis. And I think that was what was really attractive to brands, especially in the beginning. And we've really kept that as just a main part of our selling proposition.
The authenticity piece. Which is a Kardashian piece of advice. I remember watching one clip. Chloe was like, you have to be authentic. And there is a truth to that, even though they're very curated. But people can be turned off by an uncanniness when it feels too forced or too sold. And somehow people sense that. It's so interesting. And that actually brings me to the question of like the scale, the scalability of what you did. How did you do that? To 7 million is like a huge accomplishment.
Well, I will say that, I mean, a lot of growth depends, like, when did you get on the platform? And there is a timing piece to it. Is it like, are you first? Are you second? Are you hitting the right thing at the right time? But, I mean, even when we first started the blog, we always kind of said, like, because we were anonymous, we didn't want to put a face to
Yeah.
it. 3 girls with a very similar upbringing
Yeah.
from Long Island is not necessarily widely relatable, but
Yeah.
we do believe that there is relatability among women, like wherever, no matter where you're from.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you put a face to that, it's harder to see. We never really wanted it to feel inaccessible. Like we don't want to be exclusive.
Yes.
And so that I think really helped. Like we
Yes.
wanted it to be relatable. We were thinking about relatability and authenticity
Yeah.
so much before those words became
Yeah.
like almost meaningless,
Yes.
which they kind of are now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
respect you naming that actually, because it is interesting how social media has then popularized those buzzwords, but there was a real truth to what you were driving and making.
Right. And I think now you can see people trying to be relatable.
Yes.
I like to think about like the real height of Instagram was
Yeah.
like fashion bloggers. I think at that part, Instagram was like fully aspirational.
Yeah.
It was about how like perfect you looked and, you know, finding the right backdrop
Yeah.
and traveling to the right backdrop
Yes.
and really kind of revolving your life around like
Yeah.
the perfect pose and the perfect outfit.
Yes.
And these were like 19, 20-year-old girls. Like,
Yes.
where's that money coming from? It's
Right.
coming from your parents.
Yes.
So you're really, at that time, everything was sort of like how to look perfect and aspire to that. The reaction to that was that people wanted relatability. Not to get political, but to get political, I think
Yeah.
there was a huge shift post like 2016. And there was just sort of this gradual care for substance over aesthetic.
Yes.
And you really saw that take off during the pandemic, which is
Yes.
also when TikTok took off.
Yes.
So if Instagram was the rise of the perfect influencer, TikTok became the rise of, you know, like the raw content creator.
Right.
Where it was really about what were you making, and there was room for so much.
And to your point earlier about Instagram and keeping it anonymous, that
Yes.
there's a safety in that is a smart strategy, I think, for people.
I call it like the influencer life cycle.
Yeah.
But it's really more about like the life cycle that like we each have with an influencer.
Yeah,
Like
yes.
sometimes you'll find someone and you're like, oh my God, they're so great. They're so funny. They can do no wrong.
Yeah.
But then like you watch them more and
Yeah.
you watch them like every day go like
Yeah.
get their food and like go drink their coffee from this place or that.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And then they'll like say something that you don't agree with and you're like, ugh, who do they think they are?
Yeah.
Like, and then you kind of get like sick of them. And maybe
Totally.
you'll mute or maybe you'll unfollow. And then maybe you'll get over it and you'll just be like, you know, I accept them for
Yes.
this imperfect person that they have been all along.
Yeah.
And I think that you don't
Yeah.
have that when you're anonymous. And if
Yeah.
you think about it, it's like no one in this world is like perfect and flawless and
Yeah.
you're gonna love them all the time. When you're anonymous, you're not making it about yourself.
Yes.
And so you're not really liable to get that like
Totally.
criticism of like that you're doing it for you, and it just feels much less self-centered and it
For
feels so much
sure.
more content focused.
Especially on Instagram, I bet that's a breath of fresh air for people. And there's almost a safety in following it. Yeah, we don't have to talk too much about the actual secret sauce or anything, but I am just like so interested in.
I mean, I'll tell you this, like honestly, the secret sauce is so much less complicated than people think.
Yeah.
It's like if you think something's funny, I know that like other people will probably think it's good too.
Yeah.
Like the secret is just like make something people like.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, obviously like not everything is you know, the best or gold or whatever, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of times creators or influencers will go wrong when they're being a little too self-referential and making the content more for themselves and like what they think it will do for their image or whatever, rather than making content in service of the viewer.
But it is this thing of like an essence or a piece of content that is now like there's a transaction with the public that is so new.
I mean, we do have an e-com business, but
Yeah.
generally like our audience is not paying us for the content.
Yeah.
So what is interesting is we've never taken investment.
Wow.
So the business is fully funded by our own revenue, which has, you know, obviously that prevents you from taking any stupid risks.
Yeah.
And we were really careful and calculated in how we were expanding. And I think it really helped us be really careful about preserving the brand because we knew that the brand was the value.
You really were kind of like at the foreground of this like social media economy of like the brand being the currency, the brand being like what you're trading. Like that's the core of the business.
Totally. And I think the fact that we didn't have investors helped us stay loyal to the brand because it's like if you don't have like millions of dollars to just throw at something, that helps prevent diluting the brand.
Right.
And it really helped us maintain, you know, what we knew was really important, which is the communication between the community and us.
So it sounds like what you're saying is like that there's like a messiness and like a satirical voice in Betches a little bit. But I still feel like there's levels of the internet or social media that are very irony saturated. And I don't think it's toxically ironic, Betches.
Well, I think what we're really going for is like genuineness. And I think my partners and I think the three of us, like, we do have sort of like a thing for like truth seeking. Like get to the real, get to the shit. Like get to like the point.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to us.
Yeah.
And I think that is what resonates. Like performativeness is very much like a turnoff, I would say.
Yeah,
to
that
the
the
brand
performativity
and
isn't
us. There. Authenticity.
Yeah, it comes back to that.
But it's like
Chloe's
but
advice.
it's like the word, it's authenticity, but the word authenticity has been robbed of authenticity.
Yeah.
Because all these, you see people, a lot of people who aren't authentic wanting desperately to seem authentic.
Yeah.
And so it sort of ruins the thing.
How does it work now? So it sounds like you've got a team. Like what are different roles? How are people bringing it all together?
So we have a large content team, a large partnerships team.
Yeah.
We have e-com, marketing.
Wow.
And we're really just working on expanding. There's not really like tricks other than just, you know, talent and people who are valuable and get it and really trying to sort of like impart a culture that brings out the best in people.
And they're making memes, they're finding content online, or is it original content? How does it?
It's a mix. So we make our own and we also curate. The way we've sort of expanded in the past few years is that we're across multiple platforms. So Instagram, TikTok, the website, podcasts, and then we have the different verticals, which basically cover different interests.
I've learned, like, just through experience, diversifying on platforms is smart. I'm an Instagram person. I really, I like TikTok. I like it and I hate it. Instagram I generally like more, but TikTok has blown it all up. Like, diversifying was powerful. I don't know what that's about. I mean, I guess there's a logic to it, but what did you observe of that?
Well, I think like TikTok it's more creative.
Yes.
But Instagram is just like easier to go on.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, when I'm on TikTok, I'm like paying attention. Like I would put TikTok in like the category of my like TV time.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm watching and
yeah.
I'm like gonna consume really interesting things.
Yeah.
But when I'm Instagram, I'm just like casual scroll, put it away.
Yeah.
Casual scroll.
Whatever you're putting out there, it's people enjoy being satiated in those different ways.
Yes, totally.
And then it makes you more present in their lives. What point did you realize this was possible to monetize? When were you like, oh, wait, we can scale this?
I mean, right after we started and we saw how it took off and was viral and people really liked it.
Yeah.
It did occur to us like, oh, maybe this is something. But we didn't start to like scalably monetize until Instagram. Then we added the podcasts and that, you know, basically was, you know, their whole businesses of podcasts. So it wasn't like a one day we knew. It was really more like, okay, let's see this and then let's try something else and use that money to fund the next initiative or the next employee who we were gonna hire. And it was really gradual. And I used to feel like, oh my God, like why aren't we just like the most famous now? Like why aren't we just like the top of everything? And like there's always that like, you wanna be like more, bigger. But as time has passed, I've become so grateful that this was our path because like you don't want to be like the brightest star and then burn out. You know, like it's okay to get what you want like a little later, not like the second you have the idea that you want it.
That's not bad.
We're gonna like show each other our favorite like videos and memes from the last
like 15 years.
I should have prepared them. Do you have yours prepared?
No, the idea was we're going to talk about it and like jog each other's memories. That's actually more fun. We're also going to be making puppy chow, which is like a Midwestern culinary classic. Kate and I were eating puppy chow, watching funny shit online.
I did this with Mackenzie every fucking weekend.
Yes!
Oh, that I guess like gives a throughway
Yeah.
to why we're like talking about videos while making puppy chow.
Yeah.
It was kind of unintentional. We just had like a plan to make puppy chow and shoot this video.
But,
Wow,
like,
so it's
puppy
like
chow is a
actually
thing.
so fucking perfect that we're doing this.
It is.
'Cause, like the internet loves nostalgia.
Yeah, it loves nostalgia and it loves like recipes.
Like if this was like its own video, it'd be like making early 2000s snacks while talking about our fave internet videos from the early 2010s.
This is a series. What's the first internet video that comes to mind when you think, oh, early? 15 years ago, this is what I was searching to have a laugh.
Or like found somehow. How did we
Yes.
even find the videos, really? How did we find them? And like things that were viral back then, it would be like on the news.
Yeah.
That was before an algorithm. It kind of was amazing when like things would pop off like that and so many people found it on their own.
Yes.
It was like so like grassroots back
Yes,
then.
it was.
baby.
It
Where, like
was.
someone saw it and then they thought it was funny so they sent the link.
Right.
And then that person thought it was funny so they sent
it was
the
like
link.
an email chain.
No, literally. You are the captain with this shit.
Okay.
Because-
shit. Well, guess what Chex is? Because Chex knows we want this. They call it Muddy Buddies. But it's the same shit.
Dude, sponsored by fucking Chex. Oh my god, we should like email them after this.
Yeah, that's how this shit happens, dude.
No, but I wouldn't want to be like the Chex girls.
We would end up being the Chex girls. And then we get into like our sister creative disputes as the Chex girls. That's a way to make it, dude. That's a more secure way to make it than like
What we're doing right now.
Right.
Like, dude, they would want us because we're
Yes.
like, we're regular. We're not any kind of bakers.
Right.
We are just regular girls trying to have a treat.
Right. Baby, what was your first funny video?
I don't remember either, really. I'm struggling to remember. My earliest, I think, memory for us was College Humor, like we already said.
Yeah, Peanut Butter Baby, but that wasn't early for me. That was like you being throwback with Mackenzie about it and showing me.
But Peanut Butter Baby. Remember Peanut Butter Jelly Time? That's my first one, Peanut Butter Jelly Time. And Salad Fingers.
Hello. I like rusty spoons.
But that was creepy.
That was a creepy one. That was E-Bomb's World.
B-Bomb's World!
Yes.
The llama song,
Yes.
the llama one!
And like, what did we like about this? This is all it was.
Dude, you know how like that Pong game being the first video game? And like that was amazing to them. That's like what this is right now. Oh, and then Harlem Shake. Harlem Shake was actually an important like milestone in the like viral video timeline.
It was a sensation.
Yeah, that was the first of people reproducing it.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah. And people love it because it's like so collectivistic.
And it's all us like experiencing the internet together.
Yes. Oh, that's like early TikTok before TikTok was
Yes,
TikTok.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now there's TikTok trends where everyone
Yes.
does it.
And TikTok mediates it and like normalizes it. At this time it was like you had to
Yeah.
find a place to put it.
Yes.
It was mostly like landing on Instagram, but like there wasn't really a space that like was made for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to do this.
9 cups rice Chex. But here's the problem. I don't know how we're gonna melt things.
The microwave?
But
Wait, why can't you do microwave? You're scared of it?
I'm always afraid it's gonna like blow fucking shit up for some reason. Can I melt it in this?
No.
What?
Well, it's in a bowl, dude. No. A bowl. Like the bowls are like right there. Like, is this a bowl? Nope, not a bowl. Still not a bowl. Okay.
So this is
This is a bowl.
So
Is it melted?
I think it has to be half melted, and then I group mix them together. I don't know.
You can't not know.
I had to move back home because I couldn't afford rent this month. You know all those fat cats in City Hall?
Canuck, honey,
I'm gonna cry. The impact of this moment really
Yeah.
needs to hit right now. We have been trying to figure
Yes.
out the origin of that reference for so long.
Reference to like our own past videos. Like I've been the captain of this ship.
I've been literally. Have you? There's like evidence that I've said that at least like 3 times.
I'm the captain now.
stopping by Lieutenant Cheesewinkle's Eatery and picking up this extra large cheese pizza.
It was the auto-tune.
So cool. That's why I picked up 2 extra large cheese pizzas.
There we go.
Just gonna
Give
get
you
you
a pizza.
It's
It's what he does.
That
College Humor, BuzzFeed, they were being paid to do those things in the office during the workday, but like content creators are taking it upon themselves now. And there's not that like...
Which is so weird because it's like, it's circling back to needing to be a job again.
Yes,
where
exactly.
Like it became people just doing funny stuff on the internet, and then stuff like College Humor or BuzzFeed made that a business. And Betches has made that a business, but on our phones.
Yeah, they actually turned it into something that like you can get paid for.
Now this is what the doctor ordered.
Yes.
This is an accident waiting to happen. What the fuck?
We have to put it in the fridge.
Okay, we're gonna like let it like cool or whatever the fuck it's called. Behold.
Behold. Will comedy always show up on the internet?
Or else the internet would be a hellscape.
Yep. Comedians on the internet are doing the Lord's work.
Well, like existentially, like that's showing the value of comedy.
Right. Life would be a hellscape without some laughs. There's probably so much more we could be saying, but like...
We just want to eat our puppy now.
We're like... Comedy on the internet is important. Laughing on the internet is important. And media.
I didn't realize you were doing like your whole thing. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's up.
Knocking on the door of the internet is really important. Or whatever she just said.
I don't know. How the platforms shape the comedy in a way.
No.
You know? How like...
This is an uphill battle. Mouth full of puppy chow. But obviously we can't take a break from eating it. There's so much to say about the evolution of social media and how it literally has changed how we express ourselves.
Yep.
Especially comedically.
And how we think.
Mm-hmm. And like the different limitations, or what's the opposite of limitations? Itations. Functionality. Shape what you say, how you say it.
The medium is the message.
Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Michelle. I'm sending this to Mackenzie.
I just sent it to Kate.
Aww.
Who are your people that you send funny videos, funny content to? Usually, like, there's people, there could be close friends you don't do it with. Then there's close friends you really do it with. You're texting your friend that you, like, love funny content with. There's some, not really. And different friends, different memes. Oh my god.
I hate when you're so high that you, like, forget how to do things.
Yeah.
Like, you forget how to fucking text someone normally.
I can't believe I did this.
That's a big one. You really achieved something great with that.
I'm the captain now.
She's the captain now.
Okay, I can do it from memory.
Okay.
Okay, what's the first one though? Which Kardashian are you?
Khloe. Yeah.
Why is that?
I would say her resilience, like she's not putting on airs.
Yeah.
You know, she seems like the most real.
What's your personal brand?
Oh my God. I am Matilda meets Grey Gardens.
Yeah, love it, love it. And then finally, have you ever experienced a glitch in the simulation?
I get deja vu like probably once a month. Yeah.
And what's your experience of it? What's a memorable one?
Like I just know I've been here before, it's about to happen, or sometimes I'll have dreams that are like so real I know exactly what they mean.
Can you tell a story of one?
About 3 nights ago, I had a dream that I was about to do stand-up comedy in front of like a massive audience. It was like a last minute thing. Like a comedian I know asked me like, do you want to do it? Like, do you want to go? And it's like, literally there was 1,000 people in the audience. And I was just like, yeah. And he's like, okay, you have 30 minutes to come up with an act. And I sat there and I came up with an act. Like, and I had jokes in my head. Like I told jokes, like I made jokes up in my head during the dream.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that.
And some of them were bad and some of them were like really weird and people laughed because they were just like so random. And then I told them I lost my I said on the stage, I just lost my engagement ring and I forgot my whole act. And then I said, I'm gonna just make this up. And then I just did it. It was like, okay, like it wasn't, like, it was fine. Like I didn't totally bomb. And that to me was like a huge victory. And then right after, my best friend, who I guess was there, gave me back my engagement ring and she's like, I found it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She does solve a lot of my problems actually.
So it like fit her archetype in the dream.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that dream.
Awesome.